Good morning. It's just good morning. It's nearly midday, but we've already eaten. We went out this morning to the Notaire to get Mark's signature verified. I think we were meant to get his ID verified on pieces of paper, but we didn't do that. But we got his signature verified on a letter. We had an appointment. It took 5 minutes, if that, and we weren't charged. She didn't charge us, which was a real. My knee's shaking. This, isn't it? I'll try and sit still. Which was just such a surprise. I'm just imagining in the UK, if you went to a solicitor to have your signature verified, how much they would have taken out of your pocket. It's just so different here. It was just. I don't know. I mean, we were really expecting to pay. So I'm just looking down there, making sure that's not a dead bat. It's a dead leaf. So yeah, so we did that. We've got to go and take it to Chauvigny this afternoon because I'm doing it UPS to the UK. I used Parcel Monkey, which I've used a lot, and it normally works really well. And I'm using Parcel Monkey, and I didn't get my email with my code and my ticket to print off, which means that I can't send it without that. So I had a bit of a email conversation with them. The chat service wasn't open, which shocked me. I thought, well, who's going to help me? But I had an email conversation with them, and I've received an email now, so I can print that off, and we'll go to Chauvigny to the UPS drop-off point and put the documents in the post to Mark's sister. And hopefully once she receives those, she'll be able to withdraw the will and then get on with the things that she needs to get on with. As you can see, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful blue sunny day. I've had to sit this way around, so I'd be squinting if I was facing the sun, and you'd be squinting if I faced you into the sun. So we've both got the sun over here. So that was that, and I came home, and Mark went out and picked up the post, and I received a letter to Lady Kathy, whatever. I thought, what's that? And then on the back of the envelope it says Chateau de Lalande, and inside is a postcard, allegedly from Stephanie. I'm not sure that's Stephanie's writing. I imagine Stephanie's writing to be much more flamboyant than the signature on there. Interesting, because actually I cancelled my patron membership about 3 months ago because I hadn't heard anything, received anything, had got a bit disillusioned with what was going on at the chateau. Felt that the spontaneity of her vlogs had shifted, and it was becoming a bit formulaic, and so it just irritated me. I think it also irritated me, and still irritates me, that people send Stephanie and everybody, send them gifts. They're constantly opening massive parcels of gifts, which I give them their due. They change the whole way that happens, and the money that they raise from videoing that, from filming that, the money they raise goes to charity. So that's great. But I just think these people that are sending them stuff, people sending them gifts, when there's people in so much need in the world, and Stephanie does not look like she's in need. She may have done at the beginning, but I'm not so sure that she was what you would call in need. If you can afford to live in a chateau and buy a chateau, still keep your London property, then you're not so badly off. Yes, it was cold. Yes, it was difficult. Yes, all of those things. And I admire her for what she's done, and I think it's brilliant. But somehow I think people have got latched on to believing that all this stuff is needed. And I think if only they would put all that energy into supporting the vulnerable in society, the homeless, the refugees, the hungry, the poor people. You know, sending gifts to a rich person is completely bonkers. So yeah, I've become quite disillusioned with it. I've unsubscribed. I do go and look now and again because I sort of, it's difficult, isn't it? It's a bit like I go on the Fast 800 diet and then I go and look at something, or watch Gordon Ramsay on YouTube, um, cooking really lovely food. It's like I'm a glutton for punishment, but I do go and look. Um, Advent calendars really, really pissed me off. You know, it was, oh, we're going to lay this table, we're going to decorate this Christmas tree. We've got 10 Christmas trees in the house. Oh, I am in a rant. If I go any further, I'll start using the F word. So yeah, I was quite surprised. Well, yeah, I was quite surprised to receive this morning, and actually quite relieved that it didn't have perfume in it, which is another indication to me that Stephanie didn't send it, because at one time she was doing all of her Patreon cards and spraying perfume into them. And I can remember saying at the time, "Oh my God, please don't spray mine with perfume." Not that she would have seen that, you know, as one of many. Don't spray mine with perfume, because I have a real thing about perfume. I hate it. So anyway, it didn't have perfume on it, and I'm not really sure what I'll do with it. I don't really value it anymore. Oh well, Tompi. We've got over there. I know you can hear. Is that a crow? I'm trying to think if that's a crow. I wouldn't be able to see it because it's over there in the trees. But there's also a bird of prey that seems to have camped out here recently, up in the trees across the road there. And every time I come out here to do something, it flies away. And I'm thinking, but you're a bird of prey and you're in the top of a tree. I can't get you. But then I suppose there's a risk that he might be shot. It might be shot. I don't know. I can see the birds around. I can see a great tit up there at the top of the tree in Francois' house. And I can see, I don't think that's a robin. I think that's another, that might be a greenfinch. The robin was around earlier when I came out. He's always sort of hopping around. And because we're not gardeners, he doesn't get a chance to really chat to us and check out the worm situation. But it's nice to have a robin hopping around. I did a little wander around YouTube this morning and found a lovely, which I'm still watching because it's an hour and a quarter long, I think, a lovely walk around Paris in the Montmartre area, and I'll share the link to that in the description. It starts off in Pigalle outside the or very close to the Moulin Rouge, and we went to Paris one Christmas. Oh God, it was freezing, but it was also very beautiful because I think it was Christmas. Was it Christmas Eve? No, we ate out on Christmas. Well, we ate out both times. I think it was the day before Christmas Eve, the night before Christmas Eve, and we walked up from Moulin Rouge up the street beside Moulin Rouge, and the shops were just laden and beautifully displaying their wares. So there were all the patisseries, cheese, meat, fish, all the poultry hanging ready to be bought and cooked, and it was just fabulous. We were quite surprised that the Moulin Rouge, an icon, obviously in a world icon, I think, actually doesn't stand out there. It's still, you know, red and the red windmill and all of that, but it's surrounded by sex shops. So it's lost that individuality because the sex shops are really brash and in your face and neon, and it's like the Moulin Rouge. I guess when it was there originally, it would have really stood out, but it's just been overwhelmed by the buildings around it, and you sort of wandering along and come across it. You go, oh, there's the Moulin Rouge. So yeah, I'll share that. We that Christmas Eve, was it Christmas Eve? On Christmas Eve, we ate in Moulin de la Galette, which is very well known, and you'll, I think there's a couple of Toulouse-Lautrec paintings that were painted in the Moulin de la Galette. That's right at the top of that, so you've got the Moulin Rouge at the bottom, and then if you walk up and up and up, you've got the Moulin de la Galette at the top. Um, oh God, the food was fab. The food was absolutely fabulous. It was the tasting menu, and it was a treat. So it was, it wasn't cheap. I can't remember now, all those years ago. But what I do remember is that behind us on the table, although I was facing, I think, so he was behind Mark, was an English guy who I think was with a new girlfriend, poor girl. And all you could hear him talking about was himself and what I'm doing and where, and loudly, how English do sometimes. It was cringeworthy and it was embarrassing. I was embarrassed to be British, as I am often. But they were talking. He was talking about the Moulin Rouge and saying, "Well, you go. I'll sit in the car if you want to go." And there was a whole sort of thing going on like that. I think maybe they might have been on their first date, and I think maybe she was thinking, oh, "Fuck this, get this over with, and I can go home and never see him again." But in the middle of the meal, he rung his mother, and very briefly spoke to his mother. Now, bearing in mind he'd rung her, she hadn't rung him, and it was like, "Oh yes, I'm doing this, and this is where I am." And anyway, I have to go. I'm in a restaurant and I'm eating, and we go. It was like, why did you do that? It was something about, "Oh, look what I'm doing, mummy. I'm in Paris and I'm with a girl and I'm going to the Moulin Rouge." So there was a comedy to it, but it sort of, we haven't forgotten it. It sort of lowered the tone of our meal a bit, and we were pleased when he went. I think Mark apologised. Mark apologised on behalf of the British for this guy to the staff. Um, yeah. Oh, he was complaining there wasn't any English Coleman's mustard. Jesus Christ, this is the Moulin de la Galette. Anyway, that's me ranting. So anyway, I'll share the link with you to the video I'm looking at, and we're going out later. So have a nice day, and I'll have a nice day, especially now I've eaten. I'm much happier now I've eaten. I was so hungry this morning, all morning. And I'm going to risk another coffee now, but oh God, if I have another coffee, I'll want the toilet and, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Bon après-midi.